Hello, I'm Janine Gilliott, Director of Capital Markets Policy and Outreach at the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board. This webinar is to provide a brief overview of SASB and describe tools and resources that are available to you to learn more about SASB. Increasingly, investors care about sustainability information, also called environmental, social, and governance, or ESG information. Investors increasingly see these issues as drivers of long-term returns and long-term risks. But investors are dissatisfied with the relevance, the comparability, and the consistency of information they are receiving from companies. Companies are also frustrated with the existing process. Many large companies receive hundreds of questionnaires and provide significant information about sustainability factors to investors. So there's clearly a communication gap. SASB can bridge the communication gap between companies and investors on sustainability issues. SASB's mission is to develop a market standard for the disclosure of sustainability information to investors. SASB develops its standards using a process that is evidence-based, transparent, and inclusive. SASB identifies sustainability disclosure topics and metrics that are material, that are decision useful, and that are cost-effective for companies to provide. I want to talk a minute about what we mean by material and by decision useful. Material means likely to impact financial performance. Decision useful also means industry-based because the sustainability factors that are relevant to financial performance varies across industry. So SASB standards are developed by industry. SASB defines materiality from an investor's perspective in accordance with U.S. securities law. SASB standards are designed to be included in mandatory public filings, such as in the U.S. in the Form 10-K. In the U.S., GAAP governs the financial information that is included in the 10-K, and SASB standards provide guidance for sustainability information that can be included in the Form 10-K for integration into management's discussion and analysis, into risk factors, or into other sections as appropriate. We're often asked how SASB standards relate to sustainability reporting. Sustainability reports target multiple audiences, customers, employees, regulators, with a very broad information set. SASB is focused on identifying the subset of that information that is likely to impact financial performance and therefore is of interest to investors and should be included in mandatory public filings. SASB's industry-based standards development process starts with a broad set of sustainability issues that are grouped into 5 major themes: environment, social capital, human capital, business model and innovation, and leadership and governance. Our standards development process begins with this large set of issues, approximately 30 issues, and then identifies the issues that are most likely to be material in each of 79 industries. The process begins with industry research to identify which topics are likely to impact or have impacted financial performance in companies in an industry. We then obtain input from industry working groups that consist of both investors and companies. We issue an exposure draft for public comment, and based on the feedback we receive during this process, we develop a provisional standard. We've now issued provisional standards for 79 industries. Those standards are open for consultation, and we very much value your feedback on the standards. What is a SASB standard? Each of SASB's 79 industry-based standards contains rich information. It contains industry-specific disclosure topics with a definition of the disclosure topic. It contains accounting metrics for each of the disclosure topics, a technical protocol that provides guidance on how to compile the data, and activity metrics for normalizing data. I mentioned earlier that one of our goals is that the SASB standards be cost-effective for issuers to use. SASB standards average 5 topics and 13 metrics per industry, and SASB metrics are aligned with existing frameworks and guidance wherever possible. We do not want to invent new metrics. As a result of SASB's work, investors and companies can begin to understand sustainability risks that are most relevant to their industry and to their portfolios. SASB's Materiality Map is a useful visual snapshot of the ESG issues that are most relevant across 79 industries, and this Materiality Map is available on our website. SASB also analyzes disclosure in the Form 10-K. Many of the topics in SASB standards are already disclosed by companies in the 10-K, but they're disclosed using boilerplate or very generic language. SASB standards enable these generic disclosures to move toward being more industry-specific and more metric-based. Widespread adoption of the SASB standards would give both companies and investors comparable data for benchmarking performance on relevant ESG topics. SASB's vision is that companies would compete to improve performance on material sustainability metrics, just as they compete to improve performance on financial metrics today. If you want to learn more about SASB, there are a wealth of tools and information available on our website at sasb.org. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for your interest in SASB.